Get a higher level of DIY with Halo from Pulsar, the professional-grade do-it-yourself security and home automation system that turns your smartphone into a universal remote control for your entire home. Lock and unlock your doors remotely. Control your lights from anywhere. Turn appliances on and off. Save money by managing your thermostat. Arm or disarm your alarm system and receive notifications so you know who's coming home. Create scenes like movie night or arrive home, where one touch of a button triggers a whole sequence of events. You can also schedule these scenes to happen automatically. If that's not convenient enough, Halo's fully integrated with Amazon Echo.
Alexa, tell SmartLink to turn on the fireplace.
Setting fireplace to on.
Keep an eye on your home from anywhere with our industry-leading cameras, featuring high-definition video resolution, night vision, and two-way voice, so you can stay in contact with your kids, your pets, or even your elderly parents. Halo's higher level of DIY starts with professional-grade security that most do-it-yourself systems lack. Military-grade encrypted security, smoke, medical, and even flood sensors keep you notified, but are also professionally monitored 24/7 to keep your home safe. Halo comes fully equipped with Z-Wave, one of the most advanced and simple-to-use smart home communications platforms, giving you total control to automate your home the way you want. The Halo advantage is having your security, automation, and video surveillance all integrated into one system. This integration is what sets Halo apart from the competition. The unlocking of a door can disarm your security system. Door sensors used on your liquor cabinet or gun safe can trigger a notification to your phone with video confirmation of who's in there. Arming your security system can automatically lock your doors or close your blinds. Our flood sensor not only notifies you when it detects water, but can turn off your water valve automatically to prevent further damage. Safety sensors like the smoke detector and panic pendant can be set up to trigger scenes like turning on the lights and unlocking doors. Advancements in wireless technology and pre-programming makes Halo simple. If you can stick up a sensor, screw in a light bulb, and download an app, you can install your Halo system. But if you do need a hand, Pulsar Halo's 24/7 customer support is always there to assist. So don't get stuck in long-term contracts or pay hundreds more for systems that do far less. You take control and have security on your terms. Automate your home the way that you want, with a system that takes complicated and expensive and makes it simple and affordable. Pulsar's Halo. There we go, can't hear me. Now we're back. Alright, well, I'll start over again. Technical difficulties going on. Facebook is down, if you didn't notice. So we were trying to get on Facebook. Oh, yep, I got you. Can't hear you, no sound. Got it. Jonathan's on, can't see the live. .com. Sorry, I got somebody. There we go. So, should have a live feed now. Anyway, so some of the things we're going to cover tonight, like I was saying, Hello from Oklahoma. There you are. Hey, Donna, how you doing tonight? So obviously you guys are figuring out real quickly that that the Facebook page is down, so the only place we're streaming tonight is just on YouTube. Typically we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube both, but Facebook is down. So that's why I got on here late, was trying to figure out what was going on. Found out it wasn't me. It was actually Facebook. So there you go. Even Mark Zuckerberg, multi-billionaire, has problems with his website. So I guess if we have a few problems here and there, it's not a big deal. So anyway, the thing that I was talking about is we're going to cover some of the details of the app. And I know for some of you it's kind of like old, oh, you're repeating the same thing again. Well, here's the cool part about it is because we've got new people coming on board every week, that's a good thing. New customers, new Pulsar Halo app users. We're going to cover different things. Last week we covered a little bit about the hub and the internals and the different communication platforms that it uses. Now we're going to cover some features of the app so you can understand how to work that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my split screen here. There we go. So now you should have a view of my phone. And you can also see my phone live if you wanted to see what I'm actually pushing. So, so we're going to go into the Pulsar Halo app. And I'm going to click that right there. So this is the front page of the app when you pull the app up. This is just my share screen stuff. So you can see down at the bottom there, you've got your little tabs. First one is security over on the left here. The next one is your cameras. That's where you can see all your camera options. Yeah, you can see the snow up here in Minnesota. Isn't that lovely? And then the third one here is your home automation devices. So that's where you can go to see all your devices that you can turn on and off. See, I've got my studio lights down here. Watch, I'm going to turn my studio lights off and you'll see it gets a little dark in here when I do that. Oh, see? But I'm going to turn it back on. And then the next one is your thermostat, and the final one over here is doors and garage doors and front doors and door locks and stuff like that. So, but what we're going to go into tonight is we're going to cover some of the features in the settings. And the settings button is that little hamburger button in the upper left-hand corner. That's where you touch that to get into some of the back-end features of the app. And one of the first ones at the top, I'm going to cover that for you quick, just to recap for some people. That first button is locations. And what that is if you have more than one system. Like, for instance, I've got one here at my home, and then I've got one out at our farm out in North Dakota. And if you've got more than one system, you can link those systems into one app. So you only have to log in once. You don't have to log out and then log back in with a different username and password. You can link that to this here. So if you see that locations and there's a switch over there, if you only have one system, it'll say add for you. And then there'll be a plus sign so you can add a new location. But right here, you'll see it's got my other locations. So initially, all I did was hit this plus sign, and then it just asks for the username and password of your other account. Now, you have to have logged in to that account at least once with your app before it's going to let you save it. So here, once I've already logged in on the normal app one time and come back out, now I can go in and add a location with a valid username and password, and that's where I can enter in my username and password for those other accounts. And then they will show up right here. I got the Malberg farm account. That's our farm account out in North Dakota. And then the demo unit that I use for trade shows and things like that. So I've got 3 systems that I can access. So then all I got to do is just touch on that Malberg farm, and now it takes me to the Malberg farm. As you can see, that system is armed because there's nobody there. But now I can also go check on the cameras out there. I can go check what the thermostat is. Obviously, with nobody there, I leave the thermostat set at about 60 degrees, 57. And then the garage door. So I've got the same options there, but all I have to do is touch the hamburger button. Now I can switch back to our home account, and it automatically takes me back over there. So it's just ease of switching if you have several accounts. Now, you may have a customer who has maybe 5 different stores, or they got 3 different buildings. At least now you can tell them that we can link those accounts together on one app. And that's a good selling point because not very many systems have these options. These are some options that we have available that others don't have. So these are good points for you to have in your arsenal. So let's go back into that hamburger button there, the menu button, and then you've got your users, and that's where in the app you can add users. You used to have to do it on the portal only, but you can do it in the app now as well, where you can go in and I can add, you know, I've got the Mulberg kids, my kids, I can add my wife, so I can go in there and I can add a user just by hitting that button and entering all that information that I need to put in to add a new user. So I can do that right from the app now. Now, if you don't have the most up-to-date app, this might not be a feature for you yet, but it is obviously, as you can see, it is coming. So let's go back into here. The next one is your activities. Now, what is activity? Well, it's basically anything that's happening at that location. So as you can see, just a few minutes ago, I turned my studio lights off and then turned it back on again. Well, that's what's showing up. That's some activity that happened around my home. I logged into my account. I turned the lights off, turned the lights back on. Prior to that, my thermostat was reporting a battery level of 83%. The office lights were turned on, so that's when I got in here to get set up for Pulsar Halo TV. Bedroom light was turned off and on. Thermostat fan was running, was idle. Thermostat was reporting. You know, so you can go back through here and see what has gone on. See, back door was open to let me know that the door was open. The garage lights were turned off. So it gives me a total activity list of what's been going on around my home. And that goes back to, I don't even know how far back it goes, but you can go back and look at all that stuff. So there's that kind of activity log. If there's any errors or anything, something happens, power goes out, you can scroll back through that activity to see what's going on. The next category here is called recipes. And recipes is the fun one. That's the one where we can set up scenes. You know, I've got a couple set up. I guess I'll just show you here. When a lock or door is opened, unlock the front door. Oh yeah, I've got it set to where when my kids unlock the front door, because it's a smart lock, it automatically disarms the security system. So you can go in and set up that kind of recipe. The second one I have here is when the security system is armed, then turn on the outside lights. So I've got it when the security system gets armed, the outside lights turn on. When this back door is open, run a scene. I've created a scene called camera record. I've got it set up to when the back door opens, my camera takes a snapshot of who's coming in that door, so I've got it and it sends it to me. So that's another scene. Now there's an extra step to that. If you're going to create that scene, that recipe, you have to go into the portal to set up a record scene for your cameras first, and now you can come into the recipes and set up run a scene called, I named that scene camera record. And I can show you how to do that here briefly. And so we've got other ones like the sensor was open. I've got a sensor on my liquor cabinet. I run a camera record scene there as well. So when the liquor cabinet gets opened up, my cameras record who's in there. Then I also have it set to where it sends an email to a certain user. It sends an email to Jana that liquor cabinet was opened up. So I can't even sneak a drink. But it's mainly so I can protect my kids. So what you do to set up those scenes is you hit that plus button there. So if you don't have one, the only thing you're going to see is that plus button. So you go in and hit that plus button, and it takes you into your first options. This is called the IFTT, if this, then that. So if this happens is the first one, and then we're going to want that to happen. So if this happens, so for instance, it can be a sensor opening up, alarm going off, there's system trouble, a certain time of day. So if this, which can be anything, it can be, you know, the garage door opening a certain time of day. So you can set it up to a timer or a schedule. Choose frequency. I can do it daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, whatever you want to do. Maybe weekly you want the sprinklers to turn on or something like that if you got sprinklers set up. So I'm just going to pick daily. And then I can choose a time. I'll just say at sunrise, or I can specify a time. You can go into specify a time. I'm going to just leave it at 8:16 p.m. because I'm not actually going to use it. We're going to hit the check mark. So then what do I want to have happen? So if this, then that. So then what? Then set the thermostat to a certain temperature. So I can do that, or I can arm the system to away, arm the system to stay. So you can set up an auto arm and auto disarm right there on your recipes. So let's say I'm just going to say set the thermostat to cooling or auto. Just put it in the auto mode. Oop. Do that right. Recipes. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, it set it into auto mode, so wherever it's scheduled at. No, that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to delete that scene. That's how you do that. You just swipe to the left and you delete it. And so anyway, so that's where you can go in and set up all kinds of scenes. So go in and play with that. See what the different options are that you have for doing that, because there's some fun things you can set up. You know, you set it up to where when the garage door gets opened up, all kinds of things happen. So when the garage door is open, I get home and I open that garage door automatically. I can have the system disarm, and I can set up another scene to where the garage lights turn on, and I can set up another recipe to where the kitchen lights turn on. I can set up another recipe that the thermostat gets set to a certain temperature. So you can set all these things up, and then when you have them set up, you can go in here and you can turn them on and off at will. You've already got the scene preset. So I can turn this one back on, or I can turn it back off to where it doesn't, you know, it's not working anymore. So you can keep those scenes saved in there and turn them on and off however you want to use them. Let's see what else is in there. Oh, then there's just the sign out, and that's if you want to sign out of a system. So that's where you can do these kind of things on your phone. Now, a lot of people want to know about this. How do you set up a record scene? Oh, I want to go back into settings. That's one thing I missed. We were in recipes. In settings, there's several features in settings that, you know, we get calls or I get asked about all the time. How do I set up my auto sign in? Well, what is auto sign in? Let me show you. Auto sign in is after you close out of your app and you want to get back into it. So I touched the Pulsar Halo app here. Oh, no, sorry, didn't do that. There we go. I closed the app. Now when I touch on it and try and open it, it's not asking me for my password. It's automatically putting my password in for me. Some people, if it's a security issue for you, maybe you don't want to turn that on. But it's a setting that a lot of people end up turning on. Go to preferences, and this auto sign in is turned on for me. Now you can also use fingerprint, Android fingerprint. I know some of them have facial recognition you can use. You know, I don't know. Some of it doesn't work. I don't want to wait for my fingerprint or whatever. The auto sign in works great for me because then it just automatically signs me in. Somebody has to be able to know how to access my phone to get into the app anyway. So it's already got one level of security on it. Let's see what else is in this settings area. There's security, and this is where, again, some of you that don't have the updated app may not have all these features in here. The updated app is coming. This is just the beta version of it, but the global chime, you know, when the door opens and closes, you hear your hub go beep 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 beep. You can turn that off and on right here in the app now. We used to have to do it on the portal, but now we can do it right here on the app. We can also set to disarm with an Android fingerprint. So instead of typing in your 4-digit PIN code, when you go to disarm your system, currently you have to type in a 4-digit code. Well, you can actually set it up to where your fingerprint on your phone can disarm your system as well. So it has to be fingerprint disarm. This is also where you can go, and if you want to rename your sensors so you know more what they are, you can go in, slide to the left, and then you can rename those sensors. You know, I'm not going to because I know exactly what they are. So that's under security. Under video, now, this is the options where if you were going to add a new video cam, this is where you would add a video camera to your device. You just hit that plus button right there. You can also slide to the left, change some settings on here if you ever need to. You probably don't want to mess around with that. But if you do want to delete a camera, because whatever, and re-add it somewhere else, that's where you can do all that. And then you've also got the add-on to show the Secure Bell app, which I'm going to show you what that means. If you've got the doorbell cam, which I do, you know, there's a separate app that you can use to get into it. But if you go in here and turn the Secure Bell app button on, Now when I go to my camera settings, down here, I hit the cameras, which is that second one over. Now you'll see there's a Launch Secure Bell app button, a shortcut right there in your camera settings. So then I can just go touch that and it takes me right to my doorbell cam, which are Pulsar Halo doorbell cam. I'm going to touch there, go to a live, oh, doorbell is offline. Oh, I noticed that yesterday. It's cold and wet out there. But there's my doorbell cam. There's my recorded events that have happened on my doorbell cam. So, so let's go back to the Pulsar app. Now I wanted to show you a few features of the, let me finish up here and I'll go back there in a second. So that's your video settings. Your control is your Z-Wave devices. You can go into here. You can try and delete these Z-Wave devices if they're not working. Stairway lights. I'm going to try and delete that because see, it wants you to remove it as a Z-Wave device. So that's where you go to do that. Climate. Then you can set your thermostat, primary display, the different settings. See what the battery level is of your thermostat. Doors and locks. See that. And then tools, that's where you go to add and remove different devices, optimize your network. A lot of people ask, well, where's the optimize network button? It's in the tools underneath settings. So that's where that is. So anyway, those are all the things in there. I want to go into these cameras here. So if you go into these cameras, and I'm going to go to this one downstairs here because I know it's already got that. There's two different types of recording that go on with your cameras. There's a constant recording, and then there's an event recordings. And what the difference is between those, for some people that don't understand, is constant recording will only show up if you have an SD card installed in the camera. So if I go back to, I think this other camera does not have one. Oh, no, I guess they both do. I've got one at the farm. So you can see that it's got both options there. Event recording and constant recording. The constant recording is constantly recording. And then what it does is it overwrites. The oldest stuff gets overwritten with newest information. So you can scroll back here and look back through and then play a recording. There, see, there's a recording of what was going on at my home at that point in time. There's my wife sitting there talking. Uh-oh, what did I do to my phone? I don't know what I did there. So anyway, the difference between those two types of recordings, this is the constant recording is recorded on the SD card, and you can scroll back and look through it right there. Now the event recording, here is an option that's coming. It may not always work, but you can actually download these up here. Yeah, so it's a feature that's coming to where you can actually download these constant recorded events, and then you'll be able to you'll be able to download them right on your phone. Up until this point, the only events that we could download were the cloud recorded events, and you could download them on the portal, on the computer portal. We've got the option coming to where we can actually download them right here on the phone. And I want to see if we can do the cloud recorded ones yet. Yeah, see, I can currently download the cloud recorded videos, but I can't download the SD recorded ones yet. It's something that they're working on. So I can take a snapshot of an event. And what's the difference between the constant and the event recordings? The events are events that you set up. Now, I was talking about how I've got my cameras to record when a door opens up and things like that. That's what these event recordings are. In the case of an alarm, I've got mine set up to where if an alarm goes off, all my cameras record. My front door opens up, my front camera records. My back door opens up, the back camera records. Those are events. So you have to determine what those events are in your recipes and in your settings, and then this will record only on certain events. The constant recording is constantly recording. As you can see, it's 2:08 p.m., 813, 816, 818, 820. So it's basically every 2 minutes it creates a new clip, and it's constantly doing that. So you can scroll back through here over the last 5 to 7 days. That's as far as it goes. That's what our limits are with cloud recording. If somebody wants 30-day recording, they can spend $5,000 on a camera system, have a DVR and all that kind of stuff set up. Cloud recording is just a convenience factor. It's limited as far as how far back it can record. The events can get stored infinitely, as long as it hasn't filled up your storage on your cloud recording, and it'll let you know when that storage is starting to get full. So anyway, that's the difference between the constant and the event recordings, and we can go into that in more detail at another time. But I just wanted to kind of make a run through of some of these options right here that are on the app, some things that are coming, some stuff that's out on the beta, this beta version of the app that's going to get, as soon as they get some things fixed, they're going to push it to where everyone can get it. But just so you can see some of the new stuff that's happening, they're always on the cutting edge of trying to make this one of the best interfaces out there. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys all that. That's about all we got time for tonight. Apologize for those that tried to get on to Facebook. There is no, for some reason, Facebook is having some issues. So let me get out of here. Go back to just the ACAM. So, Pulsar Halo TV, we do every Wednesday. For those of you that are here for the first time, we've got new tips and tricks. A lot of it comes from questions that people ask on the Halo support line. The 855 DIY Halo, 24/7 customer support. And that's one of the key points that we have that separates us from the rest, as well as having that customer support anytime. So a lot of the questions, they come from people's questions from there. But we cover new topics here every week, every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, Pulsar Halo TV, so make sure you tune in. On Monday nights, we have the Opportunity webinar at 8 o'clock, and we also have rep and sales training that goes on at 8:30 on Mondays. So you got plenty of opportunities to plug in. So with that, I'm going to call her quits for tonight. Sayonara from Minnesota, and we'll see you next time on Pulsar Halo TV.